Hello and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke every week, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelly.
And this episode of the Reasons I'm Broke podcast has been brought to you by CustomTungsten.com. Head on over to CustomTungsten.com and check out some of the coolest rings you'll ever see. They got some Batman one, Superman, Justice League, Green Lantern one, that's the one I ended up getting, has all of the lantern symbols. I put it up on Twitter, twitter.com/reasonsimbroke. You can see it on there. Once again, that's CustomTungsten.com.
And for those of you joining us for the first time, the way our format works is first we talk about news. This, again, ranges from comic books, video games, movies, television, and more. And then we follow up with our poll list from the week. So we tell you our pick of the week, our pass of the week, and some of our opinions on the books that we picked up.
So we're going to kick it off with our bit of news here with the Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods announcement. It will be coming to North America in select theaters August 5th through 9th.
I'm going to take off some days from work to make sure I can go see this movie. This is awesome. I'm so happy it's coming to theaters.
People that have already seen the movie online, they're saying it's really good and it's a lot of fun and it's just like the old Dragon Ball Z TV show.
So they're going to power up through half the movie and then they're going to fight?
Have regular chests and turn into double Ds after they power up and turn into Super Saiyans. I always thought that was funny. It just kept growing.
Muscles, Dan.
They're not
They're
muscles.
not
Those
double
are implants.
Ds.
Super Saiyan implants is what those are. You can find more details at DragonBallZ.com.
Now, I heard a rumor, and you haven't heard this, so I don't know if any of our listeners has and could maybe give a little more information, but I heard that the writer or guy who owns Dragon Ball Z, whatever, after the success of this movie, he's like, I'm gonna make another series.
Yeah, I think this movie was supposed to be an experiment to see if there's still some money to get.
Of course there's money to get. It's Dragon Ball Z.
So he pretty much said if this is successful, then we're going to go ahead and continue and make another special, possibly even bring back the show. That's a brilliant move to be like, if you guys watch this, we'll make more. So go make more. Go give us some more money.
I would pee myself. Something I did pee myself on, too, is our next bit of news. There is a Reading Rainbow Kickstarter. Holy shit. Good job, my childhood. Keep that stuff running.
I do want to thank our Twitter follower, @IrishOnFire31, because he pointed out the Kickstarter to us and pretty much showed us exactly why this was so important. You just click on the Kickstarter. It gives you a wonderful video with LeVar showcasing all of the things they can do. This doesn't mean that the show is necessarily coming back or anything like that. This is something more hands-on with everything. What they're doing is they're raising all of this money to try to get some reading programs to schools in need. And this includes programs on your iDevices, on iPads, on computers, that kind of thing. And it's already beaten its goal of 1 million. It's tripled it.
That's amazing. It's only been out for 3 days, too. Their tagline is, bringing Reading Rainbow's unlimited library of interactive books and video trips to kids everywhere and help classrooms most in need. The thing I like about this, too, is it's not just here in this country. They're going to try and bring it everywhere in the entire world. And they can do that with it being internet only, and kids can go in and just click and have all these books read to them, which I loved as a kid. That was one of my favorite TV shows. I remember Piggy and the Puddle was one of my favorites because they actually claymation animated the whole story for you. So it was fun, and you were getting to see the words and read and learn something new while you were watching TV, sure. But then I'd go to the library and actually want to read these books. So, great. LeVar was awesome, too. He said all his little lines, and I was just, there were tears, Dan. So excited. Support them. If you spend enough, LeVar will actually go to dinner with you.
Mm-hmm. Thousands of dollars.
Well, he will let you put on his little
visor,
yes. Chill at Comic-Con with you. I would do it if I had the money.
I never saw the show. And I didn't even know this existed until you brought it up. You're like, oh, it's the guy from Reading Rainbow when we used to watch Next Gen. I'm like, what's that? I guess it was canceled in 2009. I'm like, it ran that long? It
lasted forever because I remember watching it as a kid. And I'm old as shit now.
Mm-hmm. And it just recently got canceled. That's insane.
So we're going to have to go back. I'll find you some episodes. It was great.
I didn't think we'd ever cover some soccer news. But it really relates to what we love. With the World Cup starting on June 12th, Pokemon merchandise has been released for Team Japan.
Yes, buy me some of this.
For those of you who don't know, Pikachu is the official mascot for Team Japan.
Good.
And they've released tons of pictures with other Pokemon as well wearing the Team Japan jerseys. So it's like I don't really watch the World Cup that often. Like, yeah, it only comes around every 4 years or so. I think the last one I saw was not the last one, but the one before this. I think I was still in junior high or something. But I may have to see it this year just because I'm going to see a bunch of grown men with Pikachu on their jerseys running
So
around
great.
playing soccer, and then me just cheering with them.
I think this was a brilliant move because all the other countries are like, oh, they have Pokemon. You guys aren't serious. And then they're going to kick ass.
Or they're all jealous, like, I want a Pikachu shirt. So some of the merchandise includes Pikachu desserts. Some come with Pikachu wearing Team Japan's jersey.
Man, I'd be so fat if I lived over there. We also have Adidas Pikachu towels. I'd be the cleanest person you knew, too.
There's also Pikachu notebooks.
I'd be writing all the time. We got Adidas Pikachu hats. Don't even like hats. I'd wear it.
And officially licensed Team Japan jerseys with Pikachu on it.
I would be broke. So broke. Can we go, oh, do you think Japan at Epcot would have these?
That would I hope they do because, yeah, sold.
Man, like $100, but come on. We gotta do it, Dan. Moving on to some Nintendo news. Nintendo has revealed a GameCube controller adapter for the Wii U. This was a move done with the upcoming Super Smash Bros. Game in mind. No word yet on pricing, release date, or if they themselves will produce more GameCube controllers.
For people like me who used to play Super Smash Bros. Melee, still do every now and again, don't play Brawl as often, this is amazing. Because the GameCube controller was the only controller you would really use to play any of the Smash Bros. Games. So even with Super Smash Bros. Brawl, you had the Pro controller and everything, and I believe you could use the GameCube controller for Brawl as well. But when the Wii U came out, there was no such adapter on that system like they have on the Wii. And now with this new adapter, and I guess they're going to hopefully sell some controllers, they haven't actually said yet, but when they showed that picture from the video, it shows a GameCube controller with the Smash Brothers logo instead of where the GameCube one used to be. It cost them nothing to put these together, and they'll just bank on them.
Oh, yeah. Because they're like, aha, these are some leftover parts. This shit cost us 25 cents. Dun, 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 dun.
And now, like, yeah, I'm going to buy the adapter, and I'll play Smash Brothers the right way, the way it was meant to be played.
Okay, Dan.
It is. Some people are saying they want a Wavebird controller adapter as well. I don't know if it'll work with the adapter, if you have a Wavebird already. I personally don't care either way, wireless or wired. I'm just happy I can play the new Smash Brothers with a GameCube controller. Once again, the right way to play Smash. From BleedingCool.com. Effective June 25th, DC Comics staff members will no longer receive complimentary copies of the books DC publishes. Instead, staff will be required to have a Comixology account to receive free downloads of the work.
I can't be angry with them.
What do you mean?
Well, because I'm sure these people are like, oh, so we can't get our free comics anymore. But you got them for so long, they didn't have to do that.
Yeah, the thing I guess that most people are kind of peeved about too is a lot of these staff members would take their free comics from DC because I think they can get one from everything that they publish that week. And what they would do is they can bring them to local comic book shops and trade them out for indie books or Marvel books, or they'd be able to like sell them separately. Although they weren't supposed to, they obviously,
yeah, of
who
course.
doesn't? So that's one of the things that they were kind of upset about because now they can't do that. And they probably did this move to, one, save on costs with paper and everything,
course.
and then to cut down on this kind of stuff from happening. Maybe they even worked out a deal with Comixology, like, we'll have our staff members use your app every. I mean, how many staff members is that?
Oh, a lot, I'm sure.
It's a ton. Like, if I worked for DC, I would be kind of pissed off because I prefer the paper copies as opposed to the others. If they still get a discount on the books, like, that'd be nice because then they can buy their books as well.
Buy their favorite ones, yeah.
I guess that's just how everything is going to eventually move. Is Marvel, Indie, and DC, if they don't already, they'll probably have their staff members just do the digital thing. Mm-hmm. It sucks. Like, I would be pissed too.
Well, and I get why they're pissed, but they're still getting to read it for free, and you gotta look at it from a company standpoint. They probably are losing profits on paper sales anyway, so that's gonna save them a lot of money. Some more exciting news, video game and comic book related. Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham has been announced along with the trailer and will release this fall for all major platforms from this generation and last. Like Lego Batman 2, this one will feature a wide range of DC superheroes as they try to collect all the lantern rings and stop Brainiac. This sounds fun!
It will be a lot of fun. We never beat Lego Batman 2.
We will.
But we will. We even unlocked the part of the city where you get to run around as Flash or Superman or Batman. Sinestro's in there too.
Awesome.
But for this one, I hope that you can actually use those lantern powers as you find them. So you can maybe have yellow Sinestro Corps Batman or pink Superman, the Star Sapphire Superman.
You could play as Batman and I'd play as Star Sapphire Superman. I just try to kiss you the whole time.
That's a deal. There's going to be over 150 playable characters in this one.
That's amazing. Good job, Lego. They're like, we made a shit ton off our movie here.
And they also said that, like Lego Marvel, where they had the bigger Lego for Hulk and all of them, they're going to have that for characters such as Killer Croc in this one.
That's awesome.
So they won't be like the little characters anymore. It'll be like a giant plastic piece that they're starting to produce now in real life. Like if you go out and you buy a Lego Marvel set, the Lego Hulk will actually be a little bit bigger than the rest of them. So that's pretty awesome. It's more, I guess, accurate to what they look like in the comics. But this is where our Superman loves Batman moment of the week is. If you go on YouTube, type in Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham trailer, check it out, and you'll see exactly what we're talking about. And you pointed it out first as we're watching it.
I did. He was so sassy and just, hey.
So to set up the scene, Batman is basically in space with his brand new suit, lets him fly around, and he's looking over the world, and he's got his inner monologue and everything. And Superman keeps interrupting him, and like eventually he compliments him on his suit. And slaps him on the ass.
He does. I don't think they really meant for it, but it looks like he's slapping him on the ass. Yep.
And he says, like, you look pretty snazzy.
And all their friends are watching. He's like, oh. See, I think they put him up to it. Like, you can't get him to go out with you. He's like, I bet I can.
Go on, Superman. Tell him. But he doesn't want to come on too strong, so he's just kind of holding back a little bit, and he needs the rest of the crew there. And they all compliment Batman, too, which was funny.
Well, of course, because Batman's Batman.
And the main villain, like we mentioned, is going to be Brainiac. At the very end of the trailer, you do see like a hint of Brainiac, and that's where they both fly off into that portal or whatever it is. So I think this looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. The last Lego game they did was Lego Hobbit. The one before that was Lego Marvel. And I hear good things from all of those. Okay. And I love the voice acting, too, for Lego Batman that started it. Lego Batman 2, and now they're doing it for 3. That's just good news.
I liked Lego Harry Potter, too.
That was good, too.
That was a good one. I liked flying around on my little...
I like being Snape and just hitting all the students. But we do have a question of the week for everyone with E3 coming up. What do you want to see announced at E3 this year? Tell us on Twitter at Reasons I'm Broke or on Facebook, facebook.com/TheReasonsI'mBroke.
What do you want to see announced at E3?
A new Star Fox game.
Oh, of course.
I do want a new Star Fox game, all flying, just like the N64 one.
I want Pokemon Snap for the Wii U.
And you always want Pokemon Snap.
Because that would be, the Wii U is perfect for Pokemon Snap. I could walk around my house and take pictures with my little Wii U pad, and then it's like the Pokemons is there.
The only other thing I would want to see would be maybe the new Injustice game, but like some actual footage and a trailer and everything.
Yeah, Pokemon Snap.
And with that, we can move on to our comic book news for this week. They did finally show off the Future's End 3D covers for weeks 3 and 4.
These are so silly.
They are.
You have Superman making out with Lois Lane, and then you flip it and oh no!
Lois Lane, or not, it's not Lois Lane, it's Wonder Woman.
Oh.
And Wonder Woman is just punching him in the face as the goddess of war.
Because he had called her Batman once when they were making out.
What about the one, how do you explain the one where it's Superman with the Batmobile car, and then he throws it and it lands on Batman?
It was a Batman imposter. He's going, I hear your heart. And you're not really my love!
He squishes him. Some of these covers are unintentionally funny. Like the one with Superman is hilarious. Because if you view them and you click like before you actually do the change on the 3D cover, you see it's like a normal scene, like, okay, so everything's cool, and oh my god, Red Hood's getting shot in the face! It's like those Haunted Mansion paintings,
yes,
where as it stretches, it's some awful thing, and that's what these are. But it's funny.
Or when you're going through the Haunted Mansion and they flash the thing, so like, oh, a normal boat, oh no, pirate ship!
Yeah.
They should put these up in the Haunted Mansion instead.
They should. The Harley Quinn one, I think it's done by Amanda Connor, but it shows Harley and the Joker. And then when you switch it, they're on the... I think they're getting married, right? Mm-hmm. And then when you switch it, they're on the beach, like, killing each other. That one's kind of funny, too.
The honeymoon was over.
Yeah. But that one's supposed to be funny. Mm-hmm. It's Harley Quinn.
I can't wait. Some of these, like you said, are really funny. So I'll just be laughing as I flip them.
The Sinestro one was a tragedy. Like, it's Sinestro doing a Sinestro thing. And then it cuts to him, like, insane in a straitjacket. I guess in Arkham? I don't know.
We should have switched to Naked Sinestro.
It should.
Or like Naked Sinestro, and then it flips to more Naked Sinestro. Don't know how that would happen, but they'd find a way to make it work.
They would. But yeah, we're getting some of those, obviously. I think they're $3.99 a piece, or if you want the standard 2D version, it is $2.99, and it will be for this September.
And that will do it for our news this week. Now we can move into our comic books. First up, with our indie books, we have Bravest Warriors number 20. This is written by Breen Burns, with art by Mike Holmes.
This is the official writer from the show.
Mm-hmm. So last month you were really confused.
Mm-hmm.
Did it all kind of get straightened out with this one? Do you understand a little bit better?
Yeah, I understand everything now. Because I had to read it way more carefully this time around, because the plot was really crazy. I'm like, okay, I really didn't understand the last issue. So I'm really going to have to pay attention here.
You can't be as Bravest Warrior savvy as I am, Dan. It's okay.
I guess not.
Not many people are.
But everything is in here. You have a great Catbug part. You do learn more about Chris, a.k.a. Finn. I'm just going to keep calling him Finn.
He's not Finn. He's Chris, a.k.a. the Emotion Lord.
The Emotion Lord, and how his role, I guess, plays out and will play out in the show. From what I understand, this takes place before this current season.
Yes, and if you read the back, it continues in this season.
Mm-hmm.
So this arc is done for the comic books. If you want to find out what happens, you got to watch on YouTube. They're smart. Good for that guy.
They are. Would you say you need to read this to understand the show that's currently going?
No, I think the show does a good job of explaining everything, but I think this really gives you more in-depth about the characters and why they're doing what they're doing. And we get to see the greatest Beth revelation ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I don't think we would have seen in the show.
Yeah, it was a great comic. I enjoyed it. Not my pick of the week.
Not my pick of the week, but it was good.
Next is Samurai Jack number 8, written by Jim Zub and Andy Suriano, with art by Andy Suriano. This is a silent issue.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar to that Batman and Robin that we enjoyed so much. I think it works. Like, you can really go through this and you can understand the pacing and what Samurai Jack is thinking. Essentially, he does get trapped in a cave where the reflections come to life into evil incarnations of Jack. Different versions, too. There's like a big Jack, a little Jack, a tall Jack.
Well, because he's going through, like, crystals, so it morphs his reflection. And those reflections that are all disfigured are what jumping out, trying to fight him.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like, the art is amazing.
Beautiful.
This is the kind of book, number 8, the kind of book that you'd pick up just for the art. Like, you flip through it and you're like, this I could just open and admire for in the future. Like, oh my god, look at this panel, look at these caves, look at the coloring on this. I would say if it wasn't for Batman coming up, this would have the best art this week.
Mm-hmm. It was very good. I like the reason it's silent too. In the very beginning, he's walking through a city that's really noisy, and I think somebody gives him earplugs or something. But it's meant to just kind of pull you away from all the noise that we've had in these last few issues.
Yeah, it kind of slows everything down for a bit, especially after the last arc, and gives you, I guess it kind of refreshes your palate, especially if you haven't been reading the series. It's something great you can jump on, and it's number 8. It doesn't continue in the next issue. It's just a great kind of one-shot story that you can enjoy.
Now we're going to move into our DC Comics. We have Adventures of Superman number 13. This is written by B. Clay Moore with art by Gabriel Rodriguez. I really enjoyed this one.
Well, with that idiot not figuring out that it's Clark Kent as Superman?
Yes, with Hobo Photographer. I'm going to call him Hobo Photographer.
Mm-hmm.
And Clark being a silly lady.
How was he being a silly lady?
He's always a silly lady, because the guy's like, I know. And he's like, oh no, he figured me out. But he didn't figure it out.
He didn't figure out that he's Superman. That's not what he's worried about. He's figuring out that he loves Batman.
Yes, exactly.
And all these pictures are always with Batman and just in the background watching him.
You're always looking off to the side, and I GPS tracked, and that's exactly where Bruce Wayne was.
But essentially this guy is figuring out that Superman is always near the Daily Planet, and he thinks that there's some kind of like monetary connection between the two, and that's what he suspects, and he's upset because he used to work for another paper company, or rather he owned it, And
I thought he worked for the Daily Planet, and they kicked him off because he was a hobo. And now he works for, like, the Inquirer or something.
And he's trying to kind of make a name for himself again through that. But he never figures out that it's Superman and Clark Kent. And that's what Superman was worried about.
Even though he has pictures of the two next to each other, and Clark only has on glasses.
And he has pictures of Clark never with Superman. That's the thing. Like, every time Superman leaves, Clark Kent comes up. And I'm like, okay, so he figured it out. But no, he never connects the dots. And that's what Superman says. The main villain, I guess, to this is Metallo. Mm-hmm. You do see Bizarro a little bit when they're Arkham. I don't know what they call it in Metropolis. We don't really read Superman. But when they're, like, supervillain breakout. But Metallo's the main guy here because he's the one that threatens the reporter to figure out who Superman is, and the reporter's kind of working with him. And it's also the one villain that Superman fights at the beginning of the book, too.
I thought it was a pretty good issue. I thought it told a good story. I kept rooting for the hobo, almost. Like, yeah, hobo, you connect those dots.
I thought it was alright. I probably didn't like it as much as you did.
I liked his last little article, which was, Superman saved my life and I tried to ruin his. I'm like, that's not going to make your name big, sir, but okay, fine. Doesn't help that you're writing for the Inquirer.
True. Next is Batman number 31, Zero Year tie-in, or the main thing, Zero Year. It's written by Scott Snyder with art by Greg Capullo, FCO, and Danny Mickey.
This is my pick of the week. You can't take it because I called it first.
It's my pick of the week,
No, it's my pick of the week because I called it first.
It was an excellent issue. I loved it.
It was.
Soon, Batman will fucking take down the Riddler, kick his ass. None of this more nonsense anymore.
You look so angry.
I hate the Riddler. Like, he's pissing me off. Like,
fuck the Riddler. Fuck him.
He's pissing me off. Like, he takes the whole city hostage, and then to please his ego, of course, he wants, like, a riddle told to him that it will actually stump him. And if you don't stump him, he kills you. Like, fuck you, Riddler. I will come up there. Rather, Batman will come up there. I'll beat you to
and
the
I thought
face.
you liked the Riddler.
I do like the Riddler, but he's being a little shit in this.
Well, yeah, he's a villain, Dan. You're not supposed to really like him all that much.
The only fault to that, like, it's great, the storytelling in this with the flashbacks and Bruce in the classroom and everything. Mm-hmm. The only fault that I would say on this one is when Batman is telling his long riddle. I feel like he's almost revealing a little too much. Like, Batman kind of speaks way too much in this issue. But maybe I can just chalk it up to it being early Batman with Zero Year and everything. Or it could just be Scott Snyder's Batman, and, you know, who am I to judge? It's been awesome. But you do see Batman, like, fighting some lions at one point. There's a lot of action, a lot of story.
He pulls a Simba and lifts up Mufasa and goes, Savannah!
He totally does. Batman lifts up a lion as he's, like, choking the lion.
I don't think he's I think he's jumping on the lion.
Well,
we'll pretend he's lifting him.
He's lifting the lion.
And the lion's going, Savannah!
Jabadi, jabada. It was great. I love this issue.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it was wonderful. Batman was a little shit in the end, though, when he was younger.
Yeah, when
I wanted
he did
to punch
that
him. I'm like, don't set things on fire.
That's enough, Batman. You're out of control.
Next, we have Batman Eternal number 8. This is written by Tim Seeley, John Layman, Ray Fox, James Tynion IV, and Scott Snyder, with art by Guillaume March and Andy Kubert. This is a weekly, but we are only picking up the issues with artists we're interested in.
Yeah.
So we've been picking up Dustin Nguyen. Mm-hmm. Oh, Dustin Nguyen and Guillaume March.
So this was a Guillaume March issue. Mm-hmm. I love the art, of course.
Yep.
And actually the story was awesome.
It was really good. And for being a weekly, and we missed 2 weeks? A week?
Probably a week or two. I think it's 2 weeks.
It still wasn't hard to pick up on what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel like we had really missed anything. Very easy to follow. I really enjoyed it.
And like I tell customers at the comic book shop too, I tell them for something like Eternal, you can actually jump onto it, like we just did with this one. It's number 8, mm-hmm. because through the dialogue they catch you up. Not necessarily like that front page that Marvel does, where they give you a summary of everything, which is great too. But in this one, it's Batman. Either he's thinking to himself, or someone mentions offhand, like, and Gordon's in jail because of the train wreck. So it really puts you in the spot and in the plot, and catches you up really quick. Mm-hmm. So for this, we had no trouble following along. I didn't. I don't know about you. But...
No, none at all.
And then with Stephanie Brown, I feel like they're actually building the character and taking their time with her. And I'm glad, because for someone like me that had no interest in Stephanie Brown, now I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of worried about her and where she is and her situation.
Her parents are kind of shitty.
Her parents are dicks.
She should probably get new parents.
And then this new cop that's like, fuck Batman.
Yes, the new commissioner. I like the new younger cop, though, that Gordon hired.
Handpicked, yeah.
Yeah, where he's like, throw the smoke bombs! And then he holds out his gun, and Batman just looks at him, and he's like, I'm not gonna shoot you, Batman. It's like, good for you. You understand that Gotham needs Batman.
And when Batman was starting to doubt the GCPD, because Gordon is in jail now, so Batman's like, I can't really trust any of these guys. In that moment where the guy has his gun pointed at Batman in the middle of the smoke thing, and he holds up and he smiles at Batman. That's when Batman later on in the Batcave says, I can trust the Gotham City Police Department. I have some friends there.
He was getting some feelings in a special place. That's what he fell in love with Batman in that moment.
That would count as a superpower if Batman was actually admitting it, but it's just something that happens.
That would be amazing. If Batman just made people fall in love with him.
But yeah, it was a great issue. I think we picked the wrong weekly.
We did. Go ahead.
The next one is New 52, Future's End, number 4. It is a weekly with art written by Jeff Lemire, Brian Azzarello, Dan Jurgens, and Keith Giffen, with art by Art Thibaert, Aaron Lopresti, and Ryan Sook.
I think this is going to have to be our last week on this one.
It is our last week for Future's End. There is no future for us in Future's End.
This is just the end.
Our pass of the week.
Yes, both of our... Why do we agree on these things?
Every now and again, yeah. Well, it's a Batman thing. It's like
there's harmony in the household for the week.
Yes, there is. In other words, Saga didn't come out this week, the same week as Batman.
Yes.
Because then there'd be disagreements. For some reason, you like Saga way more than Batman. Doesn't make sense to me.
Saga's really good. We've talked about this before.
Doesn't make sense.
We've talked about this. You just choose not to
listen. Because if Batman were in Saga world, it would be like issue 3 and then it'd be over. Batman would solve everything and would be done.
Well, yeah, but that's why he's not in Saga world.
Fine.
Because then everyone would fall in love with him.
So in Future's End, it's a mess of an issue. Ugh. It's boring. The pacing is slow. It's not what we thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. It's not what issue number 0 promised.
Right.
And that's what everyone got excited about. We even told listeners, and I'll still tell listeners, pick up that Future's End number 0 if you still can. It's a very entertaining issue, a great kick to the entire series, but then the series doesn't follow along. Here we have Frankenstein going on and on about who knows what. he's there at the Future's End.
I'm Frankenstein. You chopped my hand off.
He didn't change too much in those 5 years because this series jumps forward 5 years from current continuity. And then you also see how some of these characters have changed in those 5 years, including Amethyst.
Right. We don't know what happened to her, but I think we mentioned it in number 0. She's got this crazy scar on the side of her face. Half her head is shaved. I don't know. We get to see more of Grifter, who... I initially just skipped all his parts because I'm like, get to the Batman parts. But there were none.
There were no Batman parts.
There was Batman on a TV screen.
And that was your Batman part.
And that was my Batman part. And I was like, ugh. And then we saw Red Robin, who was being a little bitch.
He has a beard now.
Yeah, but he's chasing after that redhead. They kind of look like us, though. I will...
That one panel, yeah.
Yes. They did look like us. But he's like, oh, my knee, and oh, things. Ugh. My shampoo didn't wash out right. I don't know. He's just like bitching about nothing, Robin things. And then he sees Batman on the screen. He's like, another one.
He's also like, he starts immediately, oh, it's another one that Bruce is gonna fuck up. And it's like, shut the fuck up, dude. You knew what you were getting into when you put on the Robin outfit. So don't go on and bitch about how he doesn't care about what really happens to you because Jason Todd died and all this. You wanted this too. So you are a Robin. This new Batfake is Batman Beyond. Deal with it.
But see, now Batman knows that Batman Beyond's there because if he's on TV, everybody knows.
Worst spy ever.
Not being stealthy at all.
Good job, Batman Beyond.
Batfake. Can't do anything right.
I may still take a peek at the future issues just to see if maybe they'll bring it back to a Batman Beyond focused book. As far as the artist, I don't think there's no Dustin Nguyen as far as I'm concerned, or Guillaume March because they're too busy with Batman Eternal. Mm-hmm. But should an artist come up, I may pick it up again. But as far as the story or as a weekly, I'm not buying this book weekly. It's not worth the $2.99 every single week. The story isn't going anywhere, and they're not really giving you what you promised from number 0.
Agreed. What I would like to see is when this arc is over, take all these different stories and compile them into a trade. So you can read all the Frankenstein all the way through. You can read all the Grifter all the way through. We can just read the Batman. Mm-hmm. That's what I would like to see. Are they going to do it? I don't know.
And maybe towards the end, maybe the story will get better as we get closer to like the 3D covers. Like I'm assuming Batman Beyond isn't successful in preventing the future, and that's why we have those Futures End month or whatever. But maybe then we'll start picking it up again. But as far as like these next couple of weeks and months or whatever, absolutely not.
And that's going to do it for us this week. It was a short week. Just to reiterate, our pick of the week was Batman number 31, Zero Year.
And our pass of the week was New 52 Futures End number 4. Once again, this episode was brought to you by CustomTungsten.com. Go on CustomTungsten.com and check out all of the nerdy rings you can get on there. You can also customize your own ring and have it say, whatever text you'd like. They also have different symbols that you can make on there. It's pretty awesome. And the pricing is actually not bad at all. For tungsten, it's high quality. Like I said, I got one, and it's awesome. It's got some weight to it. It looks great. The white lasering on all the lantern symbols is amazing. Good stuff. Once again, CustomTungsten.com.
As always, you guys can find us on Twitter at Reasons I'm Broke or search Reasons I'm Broke. We're posting on there all the time. Pictures, we comment, we talk about news that we found out, and that's a great way for you guys to communicate with us as well.
It's also the place where you can answer the question of the week. What do you want to see announced at E3? E3's coming up quick, so let us know. We'll share it next week for episode, I think it's 91 at that point.
Ooh,
almost
we're
to 100.
old.
Yeah. But you can also respond on Facebook, facebook.com/TheReasonsI'mBroke.
And if you guys listen to us on iTunes, please leave a rate, a comment, a review. It helps other people find us.
But to find the place where you can find the link for every one of these things, go to nerdupmedia.com. There you will find links to all of our other network shows, such as The Read Pile. They do visual comic book reviews. Lazy Gaming Guys, they do Let's Plays, which are very entertaining. Bacon in the Oven, it is an awesome blog about, what do you think, bacon? And then, of course, The Reasons I'm Broke on there.
How do you do a blog about bacon?
I guess there's tons of ways you can cook bacon. You can put it in all kinds of stuff. Being a vegetarian, I'm like, I guess you can.
Can we do veggie bacon in the oven?
There is veggie bacon. Yeah,
there is.
I'm sure
we should
she could probably whip up. That'll be a crossover right there.
There we
go. Veggie bacon in the oven. But veggie bacon's a little bit more expensive, so it ties into The Reasons I'm Broke, so everything works.
We bought veggie bacon.
Exactly.
Veggie sausage is expensive, but it's delicious.
Again, nerdupmedia.com. Find the link to our iTunes page there, Twitter, Facebook, and Stitcher. Download the Stitcher app, download us on there, and rate us.
As always, guys, thank you so much for tuning in every week. You guys are the reason that we put together this show. Thank you for all your support.
Thank you very much, Brokettes. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelly.
See you next week.